If we place this whole thing that when I get there, then I'll be happy, and we're robbing ourselves from happiness now, that thing isn't going to bring happiness, because the thing itself that actually brings happiness is there's only two things you actually need to have in order to have anything you want as well. One, you need to want it. And the second is you need to know how to get it. One of my favorite studies that they did with the right environment it's called the Asch experiment. They put 4 lines on a board and they put 3 paid actors in a room, 1 real person. The 4th line was double the size of the other 3. And they said to everybody, all you need to do is go in there and choose the line that stands out from the rest. Which one's different? The paid actors were told to go in there and circle the wrong answer. They all got told to circle A, the answer's D. Every single time before they get to the 4th, 5th, or 6th time doing this, you know what happens? The real person comes in and goes,
You're a very aware person, clearly. How does somebody who's listening to this, who's like, yeah, I get it, but mate, I'm busy. I'm trying to provide for my family and work stressful. And how does someone like that start bringing awareness to these problems?
you get into an airplane, the first thing they say to you do in the emergency procedures is put the mask on other people first, right? You can spot a strength and power person out in the first 10 seconds of meeting them through a handshake. They try to break your fucking hand.
Yeah.
And why they have this need for others to see them as strong and powerful is because they're...
Guys, we have an epic podcast on how to build your dream life here with Morgan Nelson. Today, we covered what causes self-sabotage in so many of us, what causes us to have shitty relationships, a shitty body, a mind that is a prison, a business that is a prison, and ultimately, a life that is lacking fulfillment. We went deep into the 5 laws of how to build a dream life, dreaming out loud. We covered off the 3 steps that we need to follow to actually change a part of our life. So whether you want to make more money, have more freedom in your business, have a relationship full of appreciation, love, intimacy, and respect, or just look in the mirror and love the person staring back at you, this episode will change your life. It is full of power. And if you wait until the end, we actually share one of his most powerful resources where you can implement these steps today. Check it out. I know you're going to love it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the episode. So Morgan Nelson, you have been building a massive fucking brand, dreaming out loud, and the principles you have around mindset, around business, around basically just being and living your dream life are fucking insane. Your Instagram's popped off, your socials are popping off. I'm so grateful to have you here, man. So thank you for being here. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm fired up, dude. I really like what you've done here and what you've put on. So I'm excited to hopefully give these listeners, an hour of gold and something that can really sort of make some shifts in their life to improve the quality of their life in any area that they really want to focus on.
Amazing, man. So for anyone who doesn't know you, tell us, like, what do you do and why is it important? Like, how does it help the people that are listening? Give us a bit of a summary as to what you're doing.
It's funny. Somebody asked me yesterday. They're like, I skydive for fun, and they were asking me down at the job site, and they're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, a lot, really. But I don't really have an elevator pitch. But essentially, if we were to put it into like sort of a nutshell, I help people create their dream life, like whatever that sort of looks like for them. And it's quite funny because we're like 3 or so years in now, like really creating this as a coaching education company, and I. Forever, when I try to explain to people what the Dream Out Loud method is and what it is we actually do, it's very hard to articulate it. And it didn't really flesh out until I started writing my book on it. And so I'm like halfway through writing my book, The Dream Out Loud Method, at the moment. And I went away for 3 days writing it. And I came back and I spoke to my marketing manager. I'm like, I know what we do now. And she's like, what? I'm like, I teach goal setting. And she's like, oh. I'm like, essentially, that's what it is. And like, because my whole formula is how to create your dream life. So it's just, I just teach people how to effectively actually, achieve massive success and massive goals and accomplish their goals in their life. But it's not this weird, it's not SMART goals. It's not none of this crap that we sort of learn. It's really come down to the last decade of learning human psychology, human behavioral change, neuroscience, and the quantum world. All these things sort of merged into one. And how do we use the elements of everything that we have inside of our brain, how our bodies, how our nervous system actually operates, and how do we use that to our advantage to achieve our goals and our dream life? So that's really what we do. And we help people work on the mindset and the skill set, because there's only 2 things you need. You need to know, you need to want to create your dream life. This is what I say to people all the time. There's only 2 things you actually need to have in order to have anything you want as well. One, you need to want it. And the second is you need to know how to get it, right? You need to have the strong desire, but not just the strong desire, because everyone has the desire to create abundance. Like I've never met anyone. I've taught in like, I don't know, 6 or 7 countries now. Virtually, we've trained over 100 different countries around the world. We've had close to 100,000 people go through our training and education now. I've never, ever met anybody who said, I don't want to be happier, richer, healthier, and have better quality relationships. Everybody wants that as a goal, but why does only a few people get it? So everybody wants it, but there's layers to the desire. The first layer is just to have the actual desire, the want, the pleasure. But pleasure is only one form of motivation. But the second is to avoid pain. And so I really sort of help people unravel their mindset and help them get congruent consciously and unconsciously to truly want it. Because most people are fighting a game against their unconscious mind. Most people are consciously saying, okay, like we just come to 2025, everyone's setting goals. I want to do this. I want to accomplish this. I want to get this done. But why by the end of the year, about 1% of people actually have moved forward on their goals? Because it's just like building a business. You have 1,000 employees and the CEO says, this year, we're going to hit $1 million. And all the employees look at the CEO and go, dude, we know if we go for $1 million, we're going to suffer. We're going to be working overtime. We're going to have to, fill in all these extra spots. We might burn out. Fuck, we don't want to do that. And they start to get together and convince each other like, hey, let's look after each other. And that's how what's happening inside the brain. The CEO is out there going, yeah, guys, big goals is what we're doing. And he doesn't even understand. He's got 1,000 people working against him. That's how the brain sort of operates. So consciously, we might go, I really want to improve the quality of my life. But unconsciously, if we've got some deeper rooted conflicts between what we believe or what we value, or conflicted with what we believe we are, or we're avoiding our deepest fears, then we'll do anything to avoid pain before we do gain pleasure. Consciously, we want to create $1 million bank account. Unconsciously, we might have a belief that says, but if I'm very successful, no one will love me. And the number one fear I have in my life is not being loved. We'll do anything to avoid pain, aka I want to make sure people do love me because that's fearful, before I gain pleasure, the $1 million bank account. So there's a whole deep cycle into this thing of actually wanting it. Then the second step is to actually know how to get it. So we really help people really coach their mindset and transform themselves unconsciously to really congruently want the thing they want, and then marry them up with the right skill set to get it, whether it comes from communication, speaker training, financial education, business coaching, you name it.
Yeah. It really sounds like you're giving them a target to aim for and helping them remove the blocks to get there. And an issue I run into with a lot of the clients that we work with, some of them make $50, $100 million a year, and they think that's success. But then you ask them, what do you want? And they feed you the same bullshit everyone says. I want more money. I want a nice car. I want to be successful. But they're successful in that one area, wealth, and they're fucking falling apart everywhere else, right? They're miserable, like you said, stressed. They've got these bullshit stories. Then that seeps into their marriages, the relationship with their children. They're not present. So there's this idea of success out there that we're all chasing, and we see it on social media. But then when we hit it, we're miserable. I've got this nice watch and a Tesla, the 2 nice things I own. The day after I got both, I cried. Why do so many of us say we want this dream life that we're pulling out of our ass, building this idea of success only to end up miserable? Like, what's causing that? Why are we not getting what we want?
That's really interesting. I mean, like this could break into so many different things, but what I've seen is when people are not congruent, when they're not integrated in the pillars that I teach, the laws that I teach, I'll see one of 4 things creep out. I'll see procrastination, self-doubt, self-sabotage, or what you're referring to as unfulfillment. And, a lot of people can chase this for, it's not a one size fits all. I'd really have to sort of dig deeper and figure out what was it you're actually pursuing. But I've been there as well. I remember one of my biggest goals I ever wanted was to be the number 1 income earner in my network marketing company. I started network marketing when I was 21 years old, and I built that business, and then I wanted to be the top income earner. At 25, I was number 1 income earner in the whole company. That was my biggest goal. And then what happens when you do that, you come into the limelight, they put you on stage, and I was on stage in front of 6,000 people training them on mindset and success. Then I got sat down stage and interviewed by the billionaire founder. And I walked backstage after that and I was miserable. I was like, fucking over this. And this really started to help me unravel, what was that all about? And I think if we were to sort of really pull it back, what was it? And it comes down to putting things on a pedestal. If we put things on a pedestal, it's going to be further away from us. We can't actually get to it. But we place this huge desire, this huge, it's unattainable. And when we get it, then we'll have something. And what we then realize, you buy the watch and your life didn't change. And it will also come down to, which I'll come to that in a second actually, but if we're doing something thinking it's going to create a different feeling inside, because that's really why we're actually pursuing goals. We're not pursuing goals because we want more zeros in our bank account. It's not what we're doing. What's the money going to give us? What's the marriage? What's the lifestyle? What's the health going to give us? Longevity for health, better energy. If we have more money, we can buy nicer things and enjoy life better, sure. But if we place this whole thing that when I get there, then I'll be happy, and we're robbing ourselves from happiness now, that thing isn't going to bring happiness, because the thing itself that actually brings happiness is the journey itself. So throughout the process, if we're continually thinking that when I get the watch, when I get the car, when I get the girl, then I'll be happy, we won't actually know how to feel that feeling of happiness, because you know what will happen? Did this happen to you? You get the watch, then you go, what's next?
Yeah, always. There's always another goal. 10 million, let's get to 20.
Yes.
Always.
So the real question would be, why is it so scary to feel happy?
Just really quickly, if you're getting value from this podcast episode, I'd appreciate a massive favor. If you're watching on YouTube, give this a thumbs up, or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other platform, give this 5 stars. It helps us reach more men, keep more families together, and get better guests onto the show. So if you're getting value, all that I ask is you take 5 seconds to give it a thumbs up or 5 stars so we can help more people and keep delivering you epic value.
So there's going to be some sort of deepest fear. And this is something I'm really diving into lately. It's this whole other level of, understanding why we do what we do to a whole other level. And what I've noticed is we have 6 different human needs. And this is not the needs that Tony Robbins talks about. 6 different human needs. And the reason we need these things is because we need it like breath. We need it like oxygen. So if you need something like oxygen, would you take your next breath before you did what was truly valuable to you? Which one would you take first?
Of course, you take the oxygen. Yeah.
Right? Because it's what you need. So we have these 6 human needs, and the reason we need it is because we have a deep fear attached to that need. Now, I can't break them all down right now because it's so brand new for me. I'm like, literally, it's like a newer discovery in the last probably like 3 to 4 months, and I'm unpacking it. But let me give you an example. One of the needs, I can tell you two of the needs, okay? One of them is the need for significance, okay? And I've seen this in a lot of high achievers. A lot of high achievers will go through this, the need for significance. This is one of my needs because it's what drives us. We have this need to achieve, this need to perform, this need to impact, this need to succeed, this need for other people to see us doing well, all right? And if you look at what's on the back of that, why do we need that so much? Why would we need it? What are we really running away from? What we're running away from is deep connectedness, okay? And deep intimacy and the fear of not being loved. Right? So we will pursue and run after things. Okay, I need that next watch, I need that next car, I need that next house, that next this, so other people can see me the way I want them to see me, so I feel like they love me, because the one thing I need the most is significance from other people, because if I don't have it, then they won't love me, and fuck, I might as well not even live.
And that's all happening subconsciously.
Super unconsciously.
Thinking. Yeah.
Which is why we go buy that next thing, achieve that next thing, and we get there and we're still miserable because we thought it was going to bring a whole other level of love from people, but what we're really needing is love from ourselves. And so that's that one. Another one is strength and power. Yep. I see this a lot, and a lot of people have this need for strength and power. And you'll probably know someone, you know someone, you can spot a strength and power person out in the first 10 seconds of meeting them through a handshake. They try to break your fucking hand. Yeah. And you're like, God damn, right? And why they have this need for others to see them as strong and powerful is because they're mostly afraid of others seeing them as insecure. So they need others to see them as scary. They'll get the face tattoos. They'll get the crazy shit. They'll create huge success so they can be seen as this high status person. Because if others see them for who they truly are, which is this insecure boy or girl, then fuck, it's like it's the deepest thing they're running from. Okay. Another one is pity. They have this need to know that everyone else needs to know just how bad I have it. Everyone needs to know just how bad I have it. And they're just stuck in this cycle of victim cycle, right? So the question was, why do we sort of do this to ourselves? And the answer is for many different reasons. But ultimately, we're all trying to get our needs met.
Yeah.
We're trying to avoid something that's super scary for us, and we're just lashing out doing something that we don't even know why we're doing it. Consciously, you go, well, I'm going to buy a new car because I want it. But so unconsciously, you probably did, well, I got to make sure people see me in a Tesla, right? Chances are you're a significance. I am as well, right?
Yeah.
You don't start a podcast if you don't want it, because significance is also about impact.
Yeah.
We want to create significant impact in the world, right? That's me. Like everything that drives me is I want to do big things. We create events. I do all these things, and nothing's a problem until it becomes a problem. So if it was like, well, I keep doing all these crazy things so people love me, but I'm wasting all my money doing it. It's killing myself on the inside doing it. Then that now is a problem. Everything is, nothing's good or bad, right or wrong. It's either useful or unuseful. And I think for each need, there's definitely elements that are useful and elements that are unuseful if not aware of. But that's what I've seen play out for people. If they're chasing something because they think they're chasing the carrot, this achievement, but what they're doing is actually running away from something that's scary, and eventually they'll catch up and they go, doesn't matter how big I achieve, doesn't matter what I do, what I accomplish, I still don't feel like enough, because the one person I'm craving most love from is probably myself, but from men, I'll come back to father.
Yeah, it always comes back to the childhood and the past.
It's always the parents, man.
Yeah, it's always there.
Fuck us up.
But a lot of this comes down to awareness, right? Like I know for a fact, I derive significance from helping people. So if I'm not building my business and helping the next client and running my events, I don't feel significant. So I help people to feel good. It's selfish in a way, right? Same as charity for a lot of people. But if you're not aware of the significance need, if you're not aware of the strength and power need, if you're not aware of the pity need, that's when it creeps in and starts to destroy parts of your life. You're a very aware person, clearly. How does somebody who's listening to this, who's like, yeah, I get it, but mate, I'm busy. I'm trying to provide for my family and work stressful. And, I've got kids. There's all these excuses that bubble up. How does someone like that who's struggling to breathe that oxygen, start bringing awareness to these problems? Because they will fuck you up, right? Like, how do you bring awareness to it? And if you don't bring awareness, what are the consequences that you see?
You get into an airplane, the first thing they say to you do in the emergency procedures is put the mask on other people first, right? That's what it is, man. Like people are going through, especially men, this people pleaser attitude, which I think comes easier to us because we get put into this position of having to, provide and protect and do all these things. But that's what it sounds like. The person listening to this who might be drowning in that, and I don't have the time. I wish I could work on myself, but I don't have time. Well, Tony Robbins even said one time, if you don't have 10 minutes to meditate per day, then you don't have a life. And a friend of mine said to me one time, he's like, if you can't meditate for 10 minutes a day, then you should meditate for an hour a day, right? Because I'm also that guy. I'm like, I'm like, I don't have time. But then eventually you're gonna have to make the time. But every time I say I don't have time, it's because I'm prioritizing other people's needs before my own, and I'm putting other people. And it's this cycle. But there's 3 steps of a real transformational change. And you said before, the first step is awareness. If we're not going to become aware of these issues that are playing out and holding us back from our ultimate achievement, then we're never going to be able to intervene with that world. See, we can't intervene with a world that we can't see. So we have to be aware of the patterns that are playing out first. So how do we become aware of the patterns would be, does the past keep recycling? Do you keep attracting the same types of people, the same leads in your business, the same problems, the same drama? Does that just keep happening? Because that's a pattern now. If it happens, bad thing happens in your life one time, maybe wrong place, wrong time. I don't really believe, especially I'm an NLP trainer, right? I train NLP. And the whole aspect of NLP is like perception is projection. What you see in the world is inside of you, which I 100% agree. And sometimes people can go so far down, drink the NLP Kool-Aid where they're like, everything has projection. And I also live in a world that sometimes it's not. Sometimes some random shit could just be happening in life and you're in the wrong place, wrong time. But if it happened a second time, right, I would be like let's say I'm driving out here. And this also comes down to the radical responsibility you want to take in your life as well. The other day, I was driving my car out and of the car park, and I just bought this new Range Rover, so it's a lot bigger to get out now, right? And this dude drove so far to me, right? I couldn't swing out, so I was like doing a 50,000 point turn, trying to just get out in front. And I'm just looking at this guy, I'm like, what a fucking idiot! Like, bro, move back a meter. Right. And then as I finally got, I just looked at him, I was like, dude, and he's yelling out the window at me. I just went, bro, right? Flipped him off. And for the first time since I was like 18, I had some psychopath chasing me on the road. And he fucking flew around. He started chasing me. I'm like, bro, I just finished a 3-day event, right? So I'm cooked. I'm like my relaxed day. I also just came back from doing military training with an active duty trainer who trains Israeli special forces in Vegas, right? So I'm a lot more confident now in my combat skills. And I'm looking at him. He pulls up next to me. I'm looking at him. I'm like, for your sake, man, stay in the car. Stay in the car, right? I'm just looking, I'm like, I wouldn't. And my girlfriend's in front of me. I'm like, I just wouldn't, for your sake, get out. It's gonna be a bad day for you. And we're just looking at him, and then he drove off, right? After that, I was thinking, I was like, well, how did I create that? I was like, how did I create that? And I was digging. I'm like I couldn't really actually get to it. I was like, maybe it was just some fucking psychopath on the road that day. And yeah, I flipped him off, but whatever. Like, we also have days like that. So I don't believe in always going like, I create everything. I think we create most things. Especially in the beginning, that's a good question to ask. How did I create this? And discovering the awareness.
Yeah.
If we become aware of patterns that are not serving us. So now the question would be, if the next day I had another road rage, now I'd really stop and think about that. Like, what am I putting out? Am I suppressing some sort of anger? Am I scared about something? Well, why am I creating 2 crazy people in the space of, you know what I mean? But I haven't had something like that happen in like 10 years. So I'm like, it's just a one-off. We live in Australia. Maybe it's like the thing you don't do to any Australian is give them the finger in the calf. It's like, it sends immediate rage.
Yeah.
And so awareness is the first thing. Next one is understanding. Next thing is understanding. So if we're in it, and we can play with the people who are saying, well, I'm drowning, I'm so busy. Well, become aware, like, how long have you been playing the narrative for? How long have you been playing the I'm busy card for? How long have you been avoiding spending quality time with your family, working on your business, neglecting your health, and avoiding things that are probably giving you this deep, intimate connection with yourself or others? How long have you been avoiding? If it's only been a week, sure, maybe it's a busy time. It's been a month, maybe you got a busy time. Busy quarter, maybe you're hustling. Busy 6 months, I'll start to look, you've been busy all year. Come on. You've been busy for your whole life. You're avoiding something. So it's that in itself is the awareness piece. To be like, well, I'm so busy to work on myself. Shit, maybe I should just take complete time off, go to a 4-day silent retreat and see what you're avoiding, all right? And see what is it I'm really running away from. Because you're going to you probably face off with shit that your unconscious mind has just suppressed for so long because it hasn't felt safe enough to really deal with yet. It doesn't want to come up. So understanding it, and that's what that piece comes to, sitting in the discomfort. Okay, I'm so busy, I keep running for a grade. I'm going to do nothing for the first 4 hours of my day tomorrow. I'm going to sit, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to journal, I'm going to walk, and with nothing in my ears, just silence. So I can really start to, let some things come up because I've been so busy, I've just been pushing everything down. We're going to start to understand, why is this happening? Where is this coming from? How can I serve this? Or why is this, could this be serving me or whatever, right? And then the third step is reconditioning. So let's say we go for a walk. Okay, so I'm aware I'm doing the busy card all the time. I'm super busy, which is a self-defeating behavior, by the way. Captain Busy.
Yeah.
So what happens when we get stressed out? So I'm the joker. There's about 10, I believe. I teach this in my leadership programs. When you push somebody past their threshold, okay, call it comfort zone. We all have a stress threshold. And when you're within the stress threshold, everyone's cool. Everyone's chill. Everyone wears a mask. Everyone bees who do you need me to be? Right? In this moment, everyone's in that space. You push them past their threshold and you see the real person come out. You ever put someone on just a tremendous amount of stress and they're just like, they freak out. People will come, one of these different elements will play out. I'm the joker. So what happened is, as soon as COVID was happening and we were in lockdown, I swear to God, I literally thought about, I should start a prank TV show on YouTube. I'm like, I'll just prank phone calling friends, like fuck with them. Like, this is so funny. I was the funniest person to be around because my nervous system was like worried. Unconsciously, I'm like, what is going on? Are we about to die? Have we got 1 month left? Is it a zombie apocalypse? Like, when it really hit, it was like crazy, right? And my whole Joker personality was playing out. It's a coping mechanism to deal with stress. That's how I deal with it. Now, it's not a bad one, right? I'd rather have that than some of the other ones. But the Captain Busy, that's also another threshold mechanism to protect us from, it's when we get pushed past our threshold. So 1 is aware of it. 2 is understanding. If you're living there all the time, you're in a constant state of stress. So you're probably neglecting the self-care, routines. Like, how can you actually come back to a steady baseline? The third one is reconditioning. So how can we start to recondition this behavior and feel better in the moment? I'm a huge advocate for stress conditioning. It's literally like, I like jumping out of airplanes because it's extremely fun. But yesterday I went jumping, I put on my story, I'm like, another day of stress conditioning. I'm like, I love this as an entrepreneur to sit up in the airplane and feel my body as the altitude starts to climb, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000. People are getting ready, putting goggles on. I feel my body start to go, oh, fuck. And learning how to calm and regulate in the moment. Knowing that I'm about to throw myself out of an airplane. The door opens up, first person jumps out, and then your mind's like, freaking out. And then how do I start to calm my body in an absolute state of chaos, and then jump out, free fall for a minute to a minute and 10 seconds, falling to my death, and still think clearly in that moment? Stress conditioning. Now, not everyone has to go skydiving, but stress is good. I did a training call the other day for, I didn't do a training. I stepped in, I was in the room, this breath work guy was teaching his community on like, just breathe all the time and be calm and all this stuff. And he goes, Morg, do you want to chime in? He's like, what do you do when you're under stress, or like, or to avoid stress in your life? I said, to be honest, I don't avoid stress. I'm like, this is going to be completely counterintuitive to everything you just talked about for the last hour, but I like stress. I don't like days. I like moments of stress. I like high individual moments of hectic stress. Jump out of the airplane, do something hard, 3 minutes in the ice bath, things like this. Because if we avoid those stressful things, our brain's not going to grow. There's literally a part in our brain that will grow and get bigger when we put ourselves in hard situations. David Goggins has talked about this, right? And the bigger it gets, the more we can actually endure hard shit in our life. Life is hard. It's not going to get easier. We just get better. These are the things to help improve this. So I don't like to avoid stress or avoid the hard things. I like to lean into them, but I just don't live there as well. Cortisol's not good.
Your relationship is different with it. You have a different relationship. Like the guy who's stressed because his marriage is fucked and he works too much and he always needs to make more money is different to the guy who jumps in an ice bath, right? So let's say you're busy or you're stressed or your relationship's not great or your business is a prison. You bring awareness to it. So like, cool, this is going on. It's happened over and over again. You begin to understand it by creating time and space, which is uncomfortable for a lot of men, right? And then you recondition it. Now, how do you recondition it if those 4 roadblocks you mentioned come up? We have procrastination, self-sabotage, self-doubt, and unfulfillment. I think a lot of men can relate to a lot of these. So how do you see procrastination, self-sabotage, self-doubt, and unfulfillment playing out? And how do you recondition those? Because if you get rid of those 4, you can dream out loud, right?
Yeah.
So how do you recondition those 4 patterns? And what do you do?
This is, I talk about this for 40 hours.
Yeah. Let's condense it.
Right? Yeah, right. So this is what the whole Dream Out Loud method is about, right? I'm writing the whole book on it, and just super quick, it comes down to the 5 laws. So we need 5 laws to create your dream life. Law number 1 is the right vision. Okay, we need to have the right vision. And when I talk about the right vision, we've got to get really clear on this, because there's 2 things. There's the vision and there's goals. And when people ask me, how do you stay motivated, or how do you keep going, or how do you know how to make the right decisions? Because I know what my vision is. And it's easy. If this decision is in alignment with my vision, I say yes, or I figure out a way to do it. If it's not in alignment with my vision, I say no. It's very simple. But a lot of people get stuck on this paralysis of analysis. Should I say yes? Should I say no? Well, it's easy. Is it in alignment with, not is it a hard decision? Because there's been, let's say I remember when I first started doing my podcast, I want to start reaching out to some really big guests. And one of my friends, Joel Brown, he's got Addicted to Success. He's like huge back in the day, like latest podcast. He could have been like as big as Joe Rogan. And I was talking to him about it. I said, I want to reach out to this person and bring him on the podcast. And he goes, well, is bring that person on the podcast in alignment with your vision? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, then do it. I'm like, true. So it doesn't matter if it's scary or not. That's besides the point. The first thing is it in alignment with my vision? The thing my grand vision, my 10-year vision for my life, my 5-year vision for my life. Is if it's in alignment, do it. If it's hard, figure out a way to get it done. You don't have to do it immediately, but figure out a way to get it done. If it's not in alignment with your vision, don't do it. A lot of people make hard decisions, hard choices on things that doesn't even push the needle forward ultimately for what they want. Dr. John DeMartini, he's a friend of mine, and we've had him on the podcast a few times. And he said to me, he's like, if you don't fill your life with challenges that inspire you, you'll be forced to find challenges that don't. You can't avoid challenges. Choose the ones that inspire you. If it's in line with your vision, they'll be inspiring for you. So you need to have the right vision. And this is like a newer study as well. I'm writing about this in my book. When it comes down to setting the right goal, what they've found is They did a study in this lab in New York City under high performers and goal setters. And what they found is the reason why people don't actually save for retirement, the reason why they don't save for retirement is because the goal is too far away to care, essentially. What has to happen in our body? There's a certain element in our blood pressure. Our blood pressure has to actually go up. When this goes up, it excretes adrenaline in our body. Adrenaline's going to send our body to be motivated, say, right? If you're filled with adrenaline, you're fucking ready to go, right? If you're very low adrenaline, not really keen. That's where motivation comes from. It really is a feeling of excitement, of get up and go and make it happen. So if our blood pressure doesn't rise, adrenaline doesn't happen, no adrenaline, we're not excited to actually do the thing. We'll procrastinate, okay? So if the goal is too big, I see this happening all the time. People go, I've never worked out a day in my life. I don't go to the gym. I don't eat a good diet. But you know what? You know what I'm doing on January 1? A 75 hard. I've done nothing before. So this year I'm going to do 2 fucking workouts a day, drink 1,000 liters of water, read a book, document it, picture, and all this bullshit. And they're like, that, you know, that's what I'm doing. It's like, bro, what happens is the goal is either too far away or it's too big and it doesn't actually excite us enough. So I've seen so many people, you've probably seen the same. How many have started 75 hard? 8 days later, they don't post anymore. You're like, what happened? Well, because, you know, we can be super excited for about a week. And after that, what happens?
If you're getting value from this podcast episode and you want to learn how you can have a better relationship, a better marriage, you can be a better father, husband, the man you know your family deserves, then it's very fucking hard to do that just by listening and getting fed information. Sure, this is valuable, but what's much more valuable is having a custom roadmap and a custom plan. And that's exactly what we do here at The Empowered Man. So if you want to learn how to fix your marriage, reconnect with your children, and find work-life balance, then that's exactly what we want to help you with. We'll help you make more money, working less hours, have that life you deserve by becoming unfuckwithable. Just tap the link down below in the description and go and book a coaching session with my Empowered Man team. On that session, we'll build your custom Empowered Man roadmap to fix your marriage, reconnect with your children, find work-life balance, and have the life you deserve. Click the link down below right now. Consistency drops. People struggle with consistency. We have guys making 50 million a year. They're consistent in one area of business, but their health is fucked. They can do 7 days straight. Ask them about 14, doesn't happen. We have this consistency complex in some areas and we are completely terrible at others. So the vision is the first part, right? Like the clear vision is aligned with my goals. What's the next law that comes into that?
So with the vision, before I go on that, it's, I guess, so what's the answer to it? If it can't be too big, can't be too far away, because it's not going to boost the adrenaline. Same thing in reverse, can't be too small, too close. So little Sally's never worked out before. She goes, well, this year I'm gonna get into shape. I'm gonna go to the gym every day this week. It's just too small. It's like our body will do 2 days and go, what the fuck's the point of it? Right? Same thing. So you got to find somewhere it stretches you. You got to find something that you know is possible, but that stretches a little bit, because that hits the sweet spot where you're like, fuck, scary, but holy shit. I think I could do that. And if I did that, my life drastically changes. That's the beginning of it. So this eliminates procrastination because we're so excited because it's so attainable. You're not going to procrastinate on something that you know can actually be attained through hard work. You'll get it. The next one is the right environment. The right environment really, there's been countless studies on this. One of my favorite studies that they did with the right environment it's called the Asch experiment. And with the Asch experiment, what they discovered was they put 4 lines on a board and they put 3 paid actors in a room, 1 real person. The 4th line was double the size of the other 3. And they said to everybody, all you need to do is go in there and choose the line that stands out from the rest. Which one's different? The paid actors were told to go in there and circle the wrong answer. They all got told to circle A. The answer's D. The real guy comes in, looks at everyone's like, what the hell? It's D. He circles D. They reset. They do it again. They circle A. He comes in. More doubt in his head this time. Looks at him. What the fuck are you doing? It's D. At least I think it's D. 3rd time he comes in, a little bit more doubtful, doubting himself so much this time. He's like, I could be wrong, but I think I'm split. Like maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the crazy one. I got 3 against 1. Every single time before they get to the 4th, 5th, or 6th time doing this, you know what happens? The real person comes in and goes, yeah, the answer's A. 4 times. And I test this when I run my events. I do the exact, I put 4 lines on the board, right? D's always double the length. I say, which one stands out for the most? Everyone yells out D. And then I turn around with an extreme look of doubt on my face. I'm like, what? No, which one stands out, guys? I lose half the audience immediately. They're like, D, are you sure? And they're like, or, and I push people. And then by the time I push 3 or 4 times, I say, put up your hand if you had bet me $10,000 that the answer is D. If I'm lucky, I have about 1 in a room of 100 that go, no, it's D. Most of the time they've seen me do this before. And I go, well, the answer is D, clearly. It's double the fucking length. And I was like, oh my God. I said, but look what just happened in a live room. I just made you all doubt exactly what you saw in front of you. I made you doubt your own reality. I made you doubt your own guesses just because I questioned the narrative 4 times. Now you think about this. Let's say for little Johnny listening to this, he goes, I've got a huge dream, a huge goal. I want to make $1 million business, but he's surrounded by people that do $80,000 a year, never had a business. And he goes and says, I want to make $1 million business. And they go, you can't do that. Who do you think you are to do something like that? Da, 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 da. Eventually, what's going to happen? He's going to give up on the goal of $1 million business if the environment is like that. Why? Not just because the things they say to him, but because it's the safest option. Because you'd probably think, well, why does this happen? Like what's happening on a cognitive level, on a neuroscience level? This is what happens. We have 3 sections of our brain. The first part of our brain is developed over 2 to 10 million years old, right? Our reptilian brain. Its sole function is keep you alive. That's it. Now, if you think back 20,000 years ago, you're out hunting with the boys, had a great day, successful day, you got all the meat, and you're traveling back, walking back, you're the navigator of the group, right? You come to a split road. 20 of the boys all go left. And you know the answer's A. You're like, hold on, guys, we need to go right here at this crossroad. I remember, I know it. The answer's right. And they go, no, you're wrong. And they're all going, no, it's left. And you know with absolute certainty, you're looking at the map and you go, no. I know if we go that way, we bump into the other tribe, we'll probably get killed. This one is the way you get back, guys. They go, no, you're wrong. We're going this way. You coming or not? What do?
You go with them.
You go with them. And you'd go the whole way and you go, yeah, no, but you guys are fucking wrong. You're wrong. And then we get attacked. See, I told you we were wrong. But then you go, but why'd you go there then? You just put yourself in danger when you knew the answer. And you go, well, I don't know. The answer is because survival. That's it. Our brains keep you alive, not to keep you right. And we know that we're safest with the group. If he were to go by himself, right? If you go by yourself down that one, and you know with certainty that's actually correct, but what if you're wrong? What if that 1%, what if you are wrong and you got attacked? You're fucked. So you'd rather roll the dice and go with the clan and just hope that you can win through the tribe that you know is actually there. We saw the exact same thing play out through COVID, didn't we? Right? Don't get a vaccine. It's going to fucking kill you. Then a lot of people go, oh, I'm not getting a vaccine. And I always played on the fence for the whole thing. I said, why are you not getting it? Well, everyone around me is not getting it. I said, but do you know that, is there any information that stood out for you that you've researched that said not to get it? Well, no, but it's just a fucking scam trying to kill us, right? Okay, go to the other side. Why are you getting it? Well, because, our family's getting it, everyone's getting it. Have you read any research to see, like, what you're actually putting in your body? Well, no, but, like, isn't that what you're meant to do? Right? Everyone, right? People were making decisions, going with either one side of the party, had no idea, they had no data, no research backed on their decisions. They just did it because people around them were doing it. This is why the right environment is one of the most important things when it comes down to it. Because if we're surrounded by people that are complacent, we're surrounded by people that are going nowhere, that don't have the ambition, that energy is literally going to rub off us. Not just the frequency itself, but we'll eventually give up on what it is we want because we believe it's going to be safer to stay with our clan. It's a scary road of loneliness, stepping away from that group, walking that road by ourselves, hoping that we might find another group. It's scary. So most people give up on what they want and go back to mediocrity. But it's the most annoying place ever because now they know what life could be because they saw the world of color. Then they came back and settled. Yeah. So the environment, that's to skim across it, the environment.
Yeah, just really quickly on the environment, most men lack that. Like most men's environment, what is it? It's guys who are like, let's go drink on the weekend. Let's fucking complain about our wives. Let's complain about business and our employees. Most men actually don't know what personal development is. Like it's normal for you and I, but we forget how foreign it is. I was talking to Adam Hunson from Unemployable, and he mentioned that I think it's like 5% of people actually know what personal development is.
Wow.
So when you think about that, like the environment in our marriage, the environment in our business, the environment in our minds, that is such an important piece, but most people aren't even aware that their environment is breaking them down. So let's say you have the awareness, you've got the vision and the goals, you've got the environment. How does that tie into actually making that permanent change? Is that the third step?
Third law is the right vehicle. We need to have something. Like if you're put into the wrong vehicle, if you're growing up in a world where I say, why do you do what you do? So, well, why are you a doctor? Well, my dad was a doctor. Okay, so why was he a doctor? Well, his dad was a doctor. So do you want to study medicine? Not really. Will that person ever have a fulfilled life?
No.
Will that person ever have a successful life? Success is based off happiness as well, right? It's not going to happen. So the right vehicle has to come down to what's your unique makeup? What is it that truly lights you up? What is the vehicle? The vehicle also not just business. It's always very easy to relate that to business because like the business vehicle, career, mission, but also relationships could be as well. So if I'm helping somebody work on improving their relationship, it's literally a conversation. First thing I do when we run our Dream Out Loud Method 3-day program, on day 2 is a whole section on relationships. Why? Because I bring that into the vehicle section. And I ask people, I say, put up your hand if you're in a relationship. Keep up your hand if you're on the rocks and you're plotting an escape, right? And sometimes we've got people who are like, yeah. I say the first question I ask them next, I say, is it worth keeping? Sometimes we've broken up people in the room right then. They go, not really. I said, then end it right now. If it's not worth fighting for, it's not worth keeping, end it. They go, and then we start to bring out all the real reasons that they're staying in it because they love it. It's the only person. It's a different problem we're dealing with now. Now you're bringing someone else down because they're completing a part of you. That's a you job, not a them job, right? But then if it is worth working on, good, how do we create this relationship as the vehicle that's going to take you from where you are to where you want to get to, hopefully being an amazing, incredible relationship, right? So the vehicle sort of comes into that matter. And the last 2 is the right timing. The right timing comes down to because people are often 1 foot in, 1 foot out. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And they haven't fully decided. They're 99% committed. And there's still this sense of fear sort of holding them back. And nothing's really going to change our life until we're 100% in. Like it's as simple as that. Burning the bridges, burning the boats, the point of no return. Remember when I was 23, I quit my job here. I moved to Mexico, got a one-way ticket over there. And my dad said to me, I was a carpenter before this, right? I had my tools at home. And he goes, oh, do you want me to do, I said, can you put all of them on Marketplace and just get rid of them, just sell it all? He goes, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, why? He goes, don't you want to keep them all? I said, for what? He goes, well, just, it's just in case if you come back and you want to, jump back into the job. And I'm like, I don't think you fucking get it. I'm never coming back to go to a job, ever. So I'm like, why would I keep my tools there? Because then unconsciously, I'm telling myself, keep it just in case so I have a plan B. But if I'm so certain, I'm so in on my plan A, I don't need a plan B, right? And then let's just say, for the people like, well, we got to be strategic. Let's say your plan A is so good and it fails. Through the process of developing the plan A with so much certainty, you've developed yourself so much to the point that you can handle any sort of step back again. And that's what I did. Like I got rid of I burnt the bridges, burnt the boats. So I made it harder. This is what I did. I made it harder for me to ever retreat back to Australia and get into a job again. So I might as well just keep going. So I quit my job, went all in on my part-time business to make it a full-time thing. And the first 6 months was hell. It was so hard. Huge identity crisis because I was like, shit, like what, it's literally just that big leap. It's that big leap going from where you are at any point in the journey. You have to really take that big step. Just fuck it. All in now. I'm all in, nothing else. No point of return. It's going to be harder for me to go backwards than it would be to go forward. That's when shit really starts to happen. Because would you procrastinate if you're all in? It doesn't happen because it's like, why would I procrastinate? I'm all the fucking way in. I'm not procrastinating. I'm now doing. I'm also not doubting. Some doubt will come up. So he's like, I'm all the way in, but can I do it? Keep going. Just keep going. But what I'll see play out once someone's all in, they got a great environment, a good vehicle. What I'll see will play out is sabotaging patterns still.
What does that look like?
So let's say, for example, make a lot of money, growing the business. Next minute, you attract some huge loss in investment, lose $10,000, lose whatever might happen, right? You think you're doing good, something crashes behind you. Business going good, relationship tanks. Relationships going good, health tanks. And what I've seen is that the 4 main sections, business, relationships, health, and happiness, they're usually the ones that we're all trying to sort of balance. And there's kind of like this myth, and I believe the myth for a while that you can only really dial in 2 at a time. And I still believe like hyper focus, some need to get, it's very hard to sort of multitask them all. Like I'm going to crush it in business, scale my business 10x this year, improve my happiness massively as well, improve my relationship and get dialed in as healthily as I possibly can. Possible. Need a really good team around you.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting better at doing more now because I've got a good team around me. I've got, literally my doctor comes to my house and trains me, does all my meals, does my supplements, does my DNA, my bloods, everything, making it easy. So I'm trying to systemize things so I can have it all. But in the beginning, I would go, okay, which two ones am I going to dial in now? I'm like, okay, business, health, all right? And then, okay, relationships are shit. Okay, now I'm going to do business, relationships, and maintain good health, right? And I'd balance these things. But what I would see, the biggest example for what I went through was I was growing my business, doing really good, just came off stage, top incomer in the company on 25, doing great, multiple six-figure, profitable income, right? And I was living in Bali at the time. I just broke up with my girlfriend, okay? So our relationship was great. We're like a whole Insta relationship. Everyone from the outside looking at me would be like, you guys are amazing, right? And I just knew it was the end. I'm like, I'm not doing another year of this. I'm not happy in this. It's not what we want. We're doing it for other reasons. We're doing it just to keep in bit because we're in business together. We're doing it not because we love each other, because there's a future. We're doing it because it makes sense for business. That's not the relationship I want to have. I ended it. Super hurtful time in my life. We had to get rid of our villa and stuff in Bali. So I lost a lot of money just like cleaning up shit, fixing stuff, lost months on rent, all this stuff. Came back to Australia, did a whole month in America, like cost us a shit ton of money, flew back, bought a new car here, did all these things. So just a lot of cash out of the bank in like space for a few weeks. And then I was looking at my investments and I was like, at the time we had investments in this like trading sort of thing. And I looked at it, I was like, I'm a little bit too top heavy in that now. I should probably take some out. Like my gut said, take some out because now you're too top heavy. Let's liquidate some so you not have all your eggs in one basket. I ignored that voice. 5 days later, COVID. Within 6 minutes, we lost everything that was invested in that because it was on a trade. It wasn't a stock. It was on a currency trade. It just went both, all of it gone. And I remember staying in the kitchen talking to a friend of mine who we were doing it with. And he goes, no, he's ready to tell you this, but we've lost everything. I'm like, huh. First thing I thought of, how did I create that? That's a sabotage. That's a self-sabotaging pattern. I didn't necessarily but I avoided. I could have done better if I had listened to that voice 5 days earlier. I ignored it. Something unconsciously said, don't worry about it because we feel safer if you to lose your money and you're actually more broke. That was the brokest I'd been in like years. Like I went, as I did this, came back down. I was like, what the fuck just happened? My second thought was, well, back to work. I went upstairs and started hustling again. But I got really inquisitive because COVID happened. It started the year. I was really working on my self, internal that year. Go, what's this whole self-sabotaging thing around? And what I found out was this: what I truly valued. So the right you, I don't know if I said is the last law, right? Becoming the right you.
Yeah, timing was the fourth, and the right you.
Right you. Yeah. The right belief system, the right value system, and the right attitude to get you to that next place. Because the person you are right now won't get you to where you need to go. Okay? So we need to leap into a completely different version of ourselves, a new belief system, a new value system, a new hierarchy of what's most important to dial in that next section. And our values are some of our deepest motivating forces inside of ourselves. So one of my highest values at the time was success. And then I had a belief that said, if I'm super successful, I'm going to be lonely, bored, and outcasted. That was a limiting belief. Who knows where it came from? We're meaning-making machines. So I looked at that and I said, okay, does that belief sound pleasurable or painful? If I'm lonely and bored and no one's going to love me, one thing that most of us want, especially a significance-driven person, is love, then that sounds like a whole world of pain. So what my unconscious mind will then do is go, well, if you're super successful, it's going to equal the most painful thing you ever want. And we don't want that. So we're going to sabotage everything.
Yeah.
And we're going to make it really hard for you to accomplish this. So it's hustling all the time, grinding all the time. I never had a day off for 6 years. I discovered that in October. In October, I realized that. I could never crack, I think, $18,000 in a month. I could never crack it. October, I realized that. In November, I did, I think, nearly $30,000. I was like, whoa. December, which is usually the quiet month, we did about $40,000. January, I did just shy of $80,000. February, I did $183,000 in a month. And I was like, I think I've cracked this. I made more in 1 month than I did the entire year earlier. And this is when I really, and you know what? I didn't just make that money, but I had more free time, right? I started taking 2 days off a week. And now I literally, like yesterday, I spent half a day skydiving. It was a Wednesday. Like I create a life by design, and I just have a new mantra that the less I do, the more I make.
It's a belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I just have this, I don't have to, and I still work a lot, because I love it, but it's, I work in seasons. You know, and it's just a complete different structure. And that belief literally helped me quantum leap to, you know, multiple 7-figure years. We have multiple businesses now. But not only, you know, the financial success, but the lifestyle as well. Right? Like my relationship's amazing. We just got engaged. I'm healthiest and fittest I've ever been in my life right now. And I spent last year about nearly 6 months traveling outside of Australia. Went to Europe 2 times, America, Bali, New Zealand. Like, you know, I'm the epitome of like, you can have it. You can have it all. And this is why I teach Dream Out Loud, create your life by design, and create a life that's fulfilling and empowering and successful to you.
How do you build that life if you are a tradie with 7 employees and 3 kids, or you're a sole trader who's been in business for 10 years, grinding it out, or you're looking to invest in your first property, live in, and, you know, your dream home, and you don't have the freedom that you have? Because obviously you're a freedom-based guy. You've shifted your beliefs. How can you create that same level of freedom without the travel, without the life you have built, if you are that type of business owner or provider? Because a lot of men are tied down, right? I understand everything you're saying. I agree with it, but I can already hear men going, yeah, but that's not going to work for me. So that's a belief shift, right? How do you
already?
Yeah, exactly. How do you unpack that?
So first switch it to, how can I make this happen for me?
Yeah.
Right. Design the life you want. Design the life you want and live the life you've designed.
Yeah.
But like, you already hit the nail on the head. Like if we block ourselves, we cock block ourselves from the start, being like, but I can never do that, then so it will be.
Yes.
So it will be. Your mind will keep finding reasons why you can't do that, why it's hard for you, why people like you must struggle, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And we're gonna unpack it all. But I would literally, like, if I was sitting down with that person, let's call him Darren. Imagine Darren on the job site. Dazza. And I would look at these pillars and go, okay, give me your vision. What's the vision like? A lot of people get uninspired or don't push anymore because the vision's died. If we're like trees, if we're not growing, we're dying. And especially a man without a vision is a very miserable man.
Broken man. Doesn't matter how much money you have. If you lose that vision, that's what made me almost kill myself. Like, got the success. No, what's next? Didn't know.
Yes.
It destroys you.
I'm the exact same. Actually, yeah. Every time I've achieved something big and I've done the thing that was in the vision, there's always that space of like no man's land where it feels like I'm in the end zone, where I'm like, well, now what? I'm like, fuck, the game's finished.
Yeah.
And it is a bit miserable for a moment until you move the goalpost again.
Yeah.
So now I move the goalpost when I'm about like the 80 meter line.
Yeah.
I get about 80%. I'm like, fuck, I'm so close. Cool. What's happening next?
Yeah.
Because I've noticed is when I hit that end goal and I'm like, yeah, I celebrate too long. I get miserable. Now what? I lose motivation. So just before I get there, I'm already moving the goalpost and now I'm ticking it. And I celebrate. I celebrate my goal, high five the people around it. Yeah, fuck yeah. And then straight up, we go set back up, kick off again, and we go again.
But most guys don't do that.
We
Like
stay
Daz is chilling. Daz is like, I don't even have a fucking vision. You sit him down. He's like, everything's fucked, mate. Like, I'm making good money. My wife won't fuck me. You know, typical Aussie Dazza. So you ask him about his vision and he's like, mate, I don't know what the fuck the vision is. So that's a problem. What do you do there?
That's you've got to start there.
Okay.
Like you
need the vision.
Yeah. It's got to be number one. There's no point working on, like, we'd never want to look at beliefs and mindset and all these sorts of things if you don't know what you want. The number one thing at our money program, I open up, I'm like, who can tell me the number one reason why people don't get rich?
Yeah.
And 10 minutes go on, the government, like, no. The reason people don't get what they want in life is because they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
That's it. That's actually the first thing. And even I always did a Gold Coast and Sydney events.
Yeah.
Second week of January, I said, put up your hand if you set a New Year's goal this year, and don't bullshit me. Put up your hand if it's crystal clear. About 50% of the room. This is the first week of the new year where everyone does it.
Yeah.
Okay, keep up your hand if you actually wrote it down again this morning and you're still chipping away at that goal. Nearly all the hands went down.
Yeah.
Right. This is the second week of the year. So like, it's so easy. We're programmed to just give up on it and just follow these trends. So it does take this radical responsibility to actually step up and first have the declaration that I'm no longer willing to tolerate what life has been. Drawing the line in the sand and be like, I'm going to create something much bigger for myself. And there's probably going to have some hard conversations along that way.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'd first be looking at like, what is the vision? What is the life we're actually going to design for you? What do you want in the next 5 years? And if Daz has got 7 employees on the job site and he's hating the job site, I'd be like, okay, well, what do you really want? Do you want to be off the tools completely? Then we reverse engineer this.
Yeah. And for that to work, by the way, you need to know where you are. So
Yes.
the first thing we teach our clients is what do I want, but also where am I today? And as humans, we lie about where we are. We pretend it's okay. So we reverse engineer from there. You're going backwards. You have a starting point. You have where you want to go. How do you then bridge that gap for a Daza?
Got to put Darren in the right environment.
Yep.
Right? Got to put him in the right environment. So let's
Yep.
get some mentorship, Darren.
Yep.
Let's get out of these other, because chances are when I was on a job site, because I was a carpenter, right?
Yeah.
And we would go to the job site and you're building next to, we'd build townhouses and we'd work next to all these other tradies as well. And you all talk to each other. Everyone knows everyone else's business. Like the majority of all these other people, they also don't have goals and ambitions. So if you're surrounded by just them all the time, and look, sometimes you can't choose that environment. Okay. And I refer to it like this. If you got a boiling pot of water and you put a potato in the water, what's eventually going to happen to the potato? You'll pick him up and you'll just crush him, turn to mush. If you put an egg in the boiling pot of water, what's eventually going to happen to the egg? You take him out, he's all hard. He's like, you can't break me. And he's just hard. How many trades have you worked with? You can't fucking break me. 10-minute conversation, they're crying, right? Because they've just been like this whole time. But what if you took a tablespoon of coffee and you put it into the water? What happens? It transforms its environment. So at first we must work on our environment by letting our external transform us. But eventually, you know what happens? If I go into a shitty environment, I transform the environment. People just start to change. They've done studies when the Dalai Lama went to certain towns, the crime rate dropped in that town when he was there. Vibration is the thing. If you go to a music sharp key, right? You know what's going to happen? Every other piano in the store, that exact key, that chord is going to start to vibrate because it matches the same frequency. We can't attract to us. Like our frequency is what we frequently see. So if we look at what are the results I'm getting in my life, that's what we're actually vibrating. So this is why the environment's got to change. So get into better sort of mentorship. Mentorship is going to be the best thing for Daz on the job site. Go and get around a community of people who are also wanting to achieve. There's so many like tradie business programs out there, like grow your tradie business or whatever it might be, but you got to be mentored by someone who's actually helping you move away from that thing. Okay. Just these first two are going to help. Then we're going to look at vehicle. Okay. You mentioned, wife's not fucking me, this not, okay. Why are you in the relationship then? And is the relationship worth saving? If yes, good. Let's go back and maybe start to restore some shit. Maybe she doesn't fuck you because you never even appreciate her ever. Maybe you're at the pub every single day because you're avoiding going home and she feels neglected and not seen and they're not safe. And she's like, where's my even husband? Don't even have a husband. Maybe that's why. So what if you went home and you brought her flowers? Oh, and you took her on a date and you went and bought her a nice dress. You took her on a holiday. What if you start to do these things? Eventually she's gonna be like, oh my God, I feel horny again.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's had to boost too much testosterone in her body now, where she's had to put on the hardness to be like, I gotta raise the kids, I gotta get them here because I can't rely on Darren. It's gonna hurt. Because Darren's gonna be like, fuck, I thought I was a man.
Yeah.
So I was making money. I thought if I just put money in the bank account, she did it all. Happy days. Well, no. They want more. This is the book to please a man. This is the book to please a woman. It's huge.
Yeah.
Right? And I say that jokingly, okay?
But it's true though. We just want
But it is also
respect
true.
and a blowjob here and there, and we're happy. Like seriously though, it's not rocket science.
Respect and freedom.
Yeah,
Is
respect
our
and
it's
not rocket
blowjob wouldn't
science.
hurt, right? But because here's the thing. We can go to the job site, get respect.
Yeah.
We achieve, get respect. We can go get in a fight, get respect. We come home to our woman, we don't get it. The
You
one
don't
person
beat
we
her.
want it from,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, we want it from our friends. We need it from him.
Exactly. And that's part of the vision, right? Is like if your marriage isn't great or your business isn't great or your health isn't great, that's part of the vision, right?
Yeah.
And then getting the right environment. And then is this the right vehicle? Is this the right business, the right marriage? If the answer is yes, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And that something is within.
So I'd be looking at all those things of which one's gonna be the first one you fix first. Like
Okay.
if the marriage is absolutely miserable, I'd probably fix that first, because if you're miserable at home, you get show up in like that in business.
Yes.
Fixing the business isn't gonna repair the relationship. Repair the relationship, it will change everything.
Everything.
Relationships is the quality of our life. So either work on the relationship, make it amazing, or get out of the relationship and start improving your relationship with yourself. Then it's a matter of, if we're looking at the business structure, the question is, well, I can't do that. We'll flip it to, how could I do that? In the next 5 years, how can I create a company where I've got 10 men working for me, where I do the things I want to do? I love doing quotes. Great. I'm going to do 3 quotes a week, then surf the rest of the week. I have one head chippy. He runs the entire show. He's the general manager of the entire company. We'll give him shares in the company. We structure it in a way where it works for what you value. See, I value freedom and I value traveling and all that. I value fun, my third highest value. So I don't want to be bogged down in the work every single day. I'd be miserable on a job site. So I've created my business in a way that works for me, that serves my values, where I can still show up and do the thing. So we're looking at that, and then it comes down to, okay, are you interested or committed, Dazza? Like, is this something you're actually going to work forward on and actually really commit and keep doing the reps and pushing forward? And then at that point, I'll be starting to look at belief systems, value systems, and putting this all in order. So that's why these are the things I work with. I really think if you dial these things in, you're gonna have everything you want.
Absolutely. And the key here is like clarity. You got to have clarity as a human, man, woman, child, it doesn't matter. If you don't have clarity, it's very hard to hit the target. I often say to my clients, if you're aiming for a bullseye on the dartboard, but you don't know where the dartboard is, you're probably not going to fucking hit it.
Yeah.
It is just like, we have a high level mastermind, 30 to 50 grand a year. And I was coaching some of the guys the last 2 weeks in their one-on-one, and we set their goals and targets for the quarter. So 4 goals for their body, 4 goals for their mind or happiness, 4 goals for relationships, 4 goals for business. And I asked them before we set the goals, do you write your goals down? 1 out of 20 said yes. Do you read your goals daily, or vision in this case? No one, even the one who writes his goals down. So you can see these are high level guys. They've got money, they've got success, they're successful, but they have no idea what they want. They just pull it out of their ass. So what you're talking about here is clarity, and that clarity creates conviction, which for a man is rocket fuel. I know what I want. I know why I want it. I'm in the right environment. I'm in the right vehicle. It's the right timing. I'm fucking committed, Dazza. And now my beliefs are shifting with that. Mm-hmm. Now, for the guy listening at home, we're going to have to finish up in a second, but the guy listening at home, how does he take what you're sharing right now and implement it despite the excuses? Like, what is the trigger point that he doesn't have to wait for it to break? How does he go, I need to fucking change now and do something about it? What would you recommend? What would be one piece of advice?
Easy. So I can give them something for free here as well. So I have this planner I created a long time ago called the Life by Design Planner.
Yep.
And the reason I created it is because I run 4 different companies. I travel the world. We have the podcast. You'd know it. This is a business in itself.
Yeah.
This is like, so call it 5 different businesses. I travel, got a relationship. I'm busy, right? I do shit. And we push everything forward still without the wheels falling off anywhere. And my marketing manager asked me one time, she's like, how do you do that? I'm like, well, I just follow this BAM method.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what I do every single day, right? Bam, bam, bam. That's not what it is. Bam, bam, bam. But and I'm like, and she goes, can you do that? And then can that be like our lead magnet? Like, can we create a journal or something? I'm like, yeah, let's create a fucking journal. So I created this thing because I went through so many high performance planners, and there was just so much shit on there, like 1,000 questions to answer before you start your day. And I'm like, I'm already overwhelmed. I just want to get into the most important things. So what I would do for Dazza is say, if we can even, because sometimes the 5-year vision is scary. Okay, like there's levels of action. Number 1 is no action. Number 2 is blaming, complaining, and justifying. So if we're in a state of going, oh, but I can't do this, oh, but it's so hard for me, you don't understand how hard I got it, we're in the state of blame, complain, and justify. The bad thing is with that is it consumes energy. If we're gonna, blame other people and complain about our life, it actually takes energy to do that. If we're gonna justify, we start to buy our own stories and buy our own beliefs as to why we can't do the thing. If we say, well, but I can't do that. Darren goes, well, but why can't you? Well, because I'm busy. Look, you do 60 hours a week, 7 employees. Well, that makes sense. Then we rest, we get a payoff, we avoid pain, uncomfort, and we got pleasure. Being a victim. Cool, feels good, so we stay there. So I would suggest to move out of that level and move into level 3 at least, which is called some action. Okay, so some action, this is why I'm against setting huge goals at the start of the year, because people have done no action and blame, complain, justify their whole life. Then they switch to going, I'm gonna set a huge goal, 75 hard, or build a $100 million company this year. Bro, it's just so big. You haven't, built the foundation to even believe that you could do that yet. So let's just move into some action. Some action being, what do you want to accomplish in the next 90 days? It's short enough, it's close enough, you could bite it. It's like, let's get this happening. It's not this airy fairy vision. It's a tangible goal that you can control the outcome of. So I'll go, okay, the next 90 days, what's 3 major things you want to accomplish? Okay, I want to, crush it in health. I want to drop 5 kilos. Okay, I want to bring in 10 more sales in my company. I want to do this, whatever it might be. Boom, boom, boom. Tangible, specific, detailed outcomes that you can actually control. Then for each one, So I call them just now 3 rocks. We got 3 rocks for the quarter. Then for each one, I'm going to break down 3 to 5 tangible pebbles that if I also chip away at, the outcome of hitting these 3 to 5 pebbles will get me this bigger rock completed. Mm-hmm. Then it comes down to my daily. Okay, so we can give you the link. They can download it for free. It's like a weekly planner, and I literally use this still today. It's on my desk, and I have my Monday to Sunday there. I have all my notes I need to do because I still like writing. I like my phone, but it's fucking annoying. It's too much stuff to get out, Face ID, open, find it. Like, it's just annoying. I'm at my desk, I write. It's there, right? And that's where I operate from. And so we have our Monday to Friday, and all I do every single day, at the end of the day, I just write down my 3 things for the next day, which is my BAM, my bare ass minimum. And I make sure that these 3 things are in alignment with one of those rocks. That's it. If these 3 things are not affecting one of those rocks, I get rid of it. So what I do is, how I can go skydive half a day and just like touch my business each day is because I come in, I focus on the 3 highest priority tasks for me to do. That's it. My 3 highest priority. So each day I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna, like today, I know after this, I need to review one of our high level funnels because we're launching it this week, right? I'm gonna review that. And to be honest, that's what I have this podcast. It's like the major thing for me to do today. Today's quite chill. Okay. Yeah. And, you know, but that's because I design in a way where I'm like, I'm going to do the things that really move the needle that way. And then after I do that, I can do other little filler things. Like, cause I have a trillion things I could do, but the things that really matter are those things. I could go through emails. I can go and find things to break and then improve like every entrepreneur does. I could, you know, go reply to comments like that. Most of the time I don't get to that because I focus on the highest things. This is what's really good because let's say Dazza is having a really hard day. Dazza, all you need to do, go, what's my 3 big rocks? Great. 3 to 5 pebbles for each rock. And then take my planner, click the link, download it, get it, print it out, even laminate it if you want. So you can just rub it out every single week. And then each day at the end of the day, just go, what are the 3 things I'm accomplishing tomorrow? Yes. This is the beautiful thing. You go, tomorrow now, let's say you wake up and it's the worst day ever. You got 2 hours sleep, kids are screaming, everyone's stressing out, horrible day. You're like, today's a fucking hard day. All you now do is go, what are my 3 things? Boom, boom, boom. Do them as fast as you can. Now what you can do is, if you want to take the rest of the day off, do it. Take the whole rest of the day off because now you know internally you're not being lazy, right? You're not going to suffer from guilt because you should be doing things because you know you did the 3 most effective tasks that day. Take the rest of the day off and enjoy. Or if you're steamrolling it and you have an amazing day, crush them and you've crushed it by 10 o'clock, beautiful. Keep doing other things because you got so many things you could do and just keep that momentum going. But you know you did the most effective things first, and most importantly, they're affecting the rocks. Yeah. So if you just focus on these each time, by the time you come to your quarter, these rocks will be done, and now you're really chipping away, building a big freaking building. Yeah. This is how it really happens. So I have a 10-year vision. It's broken down to a 3-year vision, broken down to a 12-month vision, to a quarterly targets. And then we have weekly to-dos, and then I have a daily to-do. Like, beautiful. Everything's broken down. And then from there, it's a matter of I hire people around me to help me outsource that even more as well.
That's so powerful. And this is the thing, most people don't do this. Like, if you have clarity on the 3-year, the 10-year, the 3-year, the yearly, the quarterly, the weekly, the daily, and you focus on those BAMs, we call them MITs, most important tasks.
Oh, nice.
And you just tick them off each day, there is 0 possibility you don't move forward. 0, like you're gonna move forward. But most people don't even do that. And then we blame, complain, justify why we don't have the life we want. Yeah. Fucking powerful. We'll put that in the link down below. So go click on it, go check it out, but have some clarity. That's the main message here. Now I'd love to hear 1 sentence. Can be maybe 2. Shit. What is 1 thing that you want to leave the listeners with today so they can go and build their dream life and they can dream out loud? 1 impactful thing, 1 impactful sentence. Just put you on the spot there. Get your shit together.
The thing you're chasing the most isn't actually the thing you think you want. And the moment you can get really deeply clear on the thing that you ultimately really want, not only will you actually achieve more success, but you'll be able to do it in a more fulfilling, impactful, joyful way. So don't believe what you think is actually the thing you're pursuing. Dig deeper.
Beautiful. Amazing. Thank you so much, brother. We'll have to get you back on. Have an amazing day.
Thanks for having me, brother.
If you're getting value from this podcast episode and you want to learn how you can have a better relationship, a better marriage, you can be a better father, husband, the man you know your family deserves, then it's very fucking hard to do that just by listening and getting fed information. Sure, this is valuable, but what's much more valuable is having a custom roadmap and a custom plan. And that's exactly what we do here at The Empowered Man. So if you want to learn how to fix your marriage, reconnect with your children, and find work-life balance, then that's exactly what we want to help you with. We'll help you make more money, working less hours, have that life you deserve by becoming unfuckwithable. Just tap the link down below in the description and go and book a coaching session with my Empowered Man team. On that session, we'll build your custom Empowered Man roadmap to fix your marriage, reconnect with your children, find work-life balance, and have the life you deserve. Click the link down below right now.